If you follow the Detroit Lions, you might have noticed the rise and fall of several promising players over the years. Among them is Ifeatu Melifonwu, a player who entered the NFL with high expectations, but has struggled to live up to the hype. Since his selection in the second round of the 2021 NFL Draft, as the 2025 season draws closer, the future of Melifonwu and his place with the Lions hangs in the balance. While the team has shown patience with him up until now, it's becoming increasingly clear that they are at a crossroads. Will Melifonwu finally take the next step in his career, or is he about to become another story of unrealized potential? The Lions, under the leadership of General Manager Brad Holmes, have made a concerted effort to rebuild their defense in recent years. Drafting Melifonwu was a part of that plan. He was seen as a versatile cornerback with an intriguing mix of size, athleticism, and skill. At 6 feet 2 inches and 215 pounds, Melifonwu possessed the physical tools that defensive coaches covet. His ability to match up against bigger receivers, combined with his natural ability to cover the deep ball, made him an appealing option for a team that needed a long-term solution in the secondary. For many, the hope was that Melifonwu could develop into a cornerstone of the Lions' defense, playing alongside other key pieces like Aiden Hutchinson and Jeff Okudah. But injuries quickly became an issue. From the start of his tenure in Detroit, Melifonwu has struggled to stay on the field. After a solid college career at Syracuse, he entered the NFL with questions about his durability. Unfortunately, those concerns proved valid. In his first season, Melifonwu suffered a hamstring injury that sidelined him for much of his rookie year. Though he did eventually return to action, the time he missed proved to be a setback in his development, and his play during the brief stretches he was healthy never quite matched the expectations set for him. There were flashes of promise, but nothing consistent enough to justify the Lions' investment. When the 2024 season arrived, there was renewed hope for Melifonwu. Fans and analysts alike were optimistic that the extra year of experience and the stability of a full offseason would lead to a more mature and consistent player. However, the season did not unfold as many had hoped. Once again, Melifonwu found himself plagued by injuries. A recurring ankle issue kept him sidelined, and once he did manage to return, his performances were once again underwhelming. He struggled to stay healthy, and when he was on the field, it was difficult to discern whether he had truly made progress. His play didn't show the significant improvement that would be expected of a player entering his third year in the league, particularly one who had such high expectations placed on him from the outset. By the end of the 2024 season, it became clear that Melifonwu's future with the team was uncertain. For the Lions, the decision regarding his role moving forward would be crucial. As the team aims to take the next step and potentially challenge for a Super Bowl, the defense will need to be a major strength. The Lions have spent considerable resources on building up their defense, and with players like Hutchinson and Okudah making major contributions, the team can no longer afford to wait on a player who hasn't shown the level of performance expected of him. As the 2025 free agency period looms large, the Lions will need to make some tough decisions on who stays and who goes, and Melifonwu could very well be on the chopping block. There are several factors working against Melifonwu at this stage of his career. For one, his injury history is a major concern. In the NFL, a player can only contribute as much as they're able to stay on the field, and Melifonwu's consistent struggles with injuries have hindered his growth. While the Lions have tried to be patient with him, it's becoming increasingly difficult to justify continuing to invest in a player who can't consistently stay healthy. In a league that is notoriously competitive, teams need reliable contributors, and players who are frequently injured often lose their spots on the roster. For the Lions, that reality might mean that Melifonwu's time in Detroit is coming to a close. Moreover, the Lions' secondary is in need of reinforcements, and there's a good chance that the team will look to add talent via the draft or free agency. The Lions' front office and coaching staff have shown a willingness to be aggressive in improving the team's defense, and it's possible that they will bring in new faces to help fortify the secondary. With the team continuing to push for a higher level of play, Melifonwu might simply find himself squeezed out of a role on the roster. The Lions are likely to prioritize players who have shown more consistency and durability, and unfortunately, Melifonwu hasn't demonstrated that in his first few seasons. The addition of new coaches or adjustments to the defensive system could also play a role in Melifonwu's future with the team. NFL teams often undergo philosophical changes when it comes to defensive schemes, and if the Lions decide to change their approach, Melifonwu might not be a fit for the new direction. Coaching staffs tend to make decisions based on the system they want to run, and if Melifonwu's skill set doesn't align with the needs of the defense, it would make sense for the Lions to move on and find someone who fits better. While Melifonwu has the physical tools to succeed, his inability to consistently stay healthy and perform at a high level may lead to him being passed over in favor of a player who can better contribute to the team's success. So, what does the future hold for Ifeatu Melifonwu? As it stands, his time with the Detroit Lions could be coming to an end. his inability to stay healthy, and the lack of progress in his play have made it difficult for the team to justify keeping him on the roster. The Lions will undoubtedly continue to build on their defensive foundation, and Melifonwu might not be part of that future. While he still has potential, the reality is that the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league, and for Melifonwu, the answer hasn't been much. That said, his story in Detroit might not be completely over just yet. If the Lions decide to keep him around, it will likely be as a player who needs to prove himself in a make-or-break season. The 2025 campaign could serve as a final opportunity for Melifonwu to show he belongs in the NFL, whether with the Lions or with another team. If he can stay healthy and find his stride, there may still be a place for him in the league. But if he fails to live up to expectations once again, it could signal the end of his time in Detroit and potentially the NFL altogether. Even if the Lions decide to move on from Melifonwu, there's a chance that another team might take a chance on him. A change of scenery might be what Melifonwu needs to revitalize his career. After all, some players find success after leaving a situation where they didn't thrive, and a new team with a different defensive philosophy could help him find his rhythm. Whether he stays in Detroit or not, Melifonwu's future is far from guaranteed, and the next few months will be crucial in determining whether he can salvage his career. One thing that has often been overlooked in Melifonwu's career is the mental and emotional toll of dealing with recurring injuries. While physical injuries are undeniably disruptive, the psychological aspect of having to constantly battle back from setbacks can be equally damaging. For many players, it's not just about getting back on the field, but also about regaining the confidence that was once there. Melifonwu, while physically talented, may also need a psychological reset to move beyond his injury-prone label and prove to himself and the coaching staff that he can still be the player they envisioned. This mental shift could be just as crucial as his physical recovery if he hopes to turn his career around. Another element that might be influencing the Lions' decision-making process is the emergence of younger, hungry players. As the team looks to build a long-term future, they will likely prioritize the development of players who are consistently on the field and can make an immediate impact. This could mean that players in the pipeline are given the opportunity to prove themselves over someone like Melifonwu, whose growth has been stunted by his injuries. Detroit may want to use the 2025 season to evaluate new talents who might have a higher ceiling and provide more value in the coming seasons. As the 2025 season approaches, it will be critical for Melifonwu to show that he can not only stay healthy, but also make meaningful contributions when called upon. His opportunities will be limited, and every snap could be make or break for his career. The Lions are moving forward with their roster decisions, and if Melifonwu isn't able to show that he can contribute to the team's goals of competing for a Super Bowl, his future in Detroit might indeed come to an end. Finally, the changing nature of the NFL itself could also impact Melifonwu's future. The league is always evolving, and the demand for certain skill sets in defensive backs changes over time. If Melifonwu is unable to adapt to these changes, it could further complicate his chances of remaining with the Lions or securing a role with another team. NFL teams increasingly rely on defensive backs who are versatile, quick, and intelligent, and players who cannot evolve with these changes might find themselves on the outs. For Melifonwu, the ability to adapt to this ever-changing league will be another critical factor in determining whether he has a place in the NFL moving forward. Ultimately, the decision regarding Melifonwu's future will depend on how the Lions view his potential moving forward. If they believe he can contribute in the long run, they might give him another shot. However, if they feel his time has passed, Melifonwu could very well be on his way out of Detroit, marking the end of what was once a promising career. The clock is ticking, and as the 2025 season approaches, Melifonwu's fate with the Lions seems uncertain at best. Whether he stays or goes, one thing is clear: his future in Detroit is on the line.